My name is Steve Huskey, and the reason that you need to listen to me about this is because we work with companies that have online reputation management problems all the time. And we know computers. We understand how they rank things, and we understand how to write reviews, but more importantly, we understand how not to write reviews and responses. So, I am Steve Huskey. I'm the Wizard of Google. I recognize a lot of faces in here, but for those of you who don't know me, I'm the Chief Operations Officer of High Five Promotions. I've managed about 3,000 online marketing campaigns. As a company, we've managed about another 1,000 on top of that. So we've got a lot of experience. And this reviews presentation is pretty good. I like it. If you follow me on Google+, I've been changing it every time so that my assistant can figure out which person to award a free consultation. If you follow me on Google+, you will be entered to win a free consultation with me. I've already given away 3 free consultations. This is my final course of the day, so you guys could enter to win one too. Last thing, if you text book to 200-2295, this book is 100% relevant based on this course. It hasn't been relevant based on my other 3 that I've been talking about. Well, social is kind of relevant. But this one, it's incredibly relevant. This book right here, if you text book to 512-200-2295, you will get a manual, a 5-step process that I'm going to show you here for how to respond to negative reviews and positive reviews. That saves you a lot of writing, right? Okay. Let's talk about the agenda. We're going to talk about winning the review battle because just competing is not good enough. You want to beat your competitors. DEMA didn't hire me to teach you guys how to do average. They hired me to teach you guys how to be good. So that's what I'm going to show you how to do. I'm going to show you how to get reviews. There are a lot of incentive plans that you can use to get reviews. And there's ways that you can incent your employees, your customers, yourself. There's all different kinds of ways to get reviews, and I'm going to cover those today. I'm going to talk to you about how to respond to negative reviews. Doesn't this cat just look like he doesn't care? I mean, he just looks like he wants to eat you. I have dogs. I don't know why I have so many cat pictures up here. But anyway, I'm going to teach you how to respond to negative reviews. And I'm also, my book is called Taking the Goo Out of Google My Business. You see this right here, Google My Business? So this book is extremely relevant for this particular talk. The book shows you how to use Google My Business, and it shows you how to get ranked using Google My Business, which is really strange. When you think of Google My Business, nobody thinks of Google My Business as a reputable network. But you know what Google My Business is? It's Google, and Google loves Google stuff. They're super narcissistic. They love YouTube, they love Picasa, they love Google Drive. Google loves its own stuff. And so using Google My Business can not only get you ranked on the first page of Google, but it can block out your competitors from getting ranked on the first page of Google. Google My Business does that, as opposed to other social networks. So this is the end of the agenda. Anyone watch The Walking Dead? I don't understand. Just put all doors open out. Problem solved. That's it. I don't understand why people don't do that in the movie. But anyway, let's talk about the online landscape. When you're looking for reviews, and what we're talking about is Scuba Diving Lessons United States. Let's look at the national landscape here. This is the top, and then this is the second page. So this is the top, and not second page, this is underneath. So this would go right here. You understand? I just kind of did a split screen so you can see the whole screen, and it wasn't tiny text. As you see, this is Scuba Diving Lessons United States. But we're doing a national search. I'm trying to show you how a national search would look. And you can see that the map still popped up, but I mean, look at the wide variety of stuff here. Anyone who searches for that is immediately going to go back and go, Scuba Diving Sacramento. That's what I meant. That's what I meant. Over here you can see, well, first off, there's no paid results. Over here you can see organic results. This is the first organic result right here. No reviews up there. PADI, Scuba Diving, MNN, and Dive Advisor. Let's look at a regional search. This is Scuba Diving Lessons, Texas. That's where I live. So somebody doesn't know exactly where they want scuba diving lessons, and they're kind of doing a new search. Again, this is just to give us an idea of the landscape. This is what would pop up. Hey, John, did you win the GoPro? This guy here, he's got horseshoes everywhere. He's won 3 GoPros. 2. Okay, 2. So, okay, his booth has won 3 GoPros. I need to be with this guy when the GoPro drawing is done. So with a regional search, you can see that they start with a map, still the map, no ads. And there are organic listings again. Straight up organic listings. But they're not directories, they're still sites. Scuba Land, I used to work with those guys. Texas Scuba, Maximum Scuba, Dive World Austin. Yes, Mia?
Under the Google Maps, how does Google decide which dive center is going to show up first?
So glad you showed up to this class because that's what we're going to cover. Thank you for asking. I'll cover that this whole presentation, okay? This whole thing is about that largely. This is Google Local, and again, we're just discussing the landscape, okay? If someone does a local search, now they're getting from national to regional to local, all right? They figured out the city they're in, they know what they want. You'll see there's no ads here, that's kind of odd for this search, but you see the map is still up top. Have you noticed a common thread? The map is still up top across all of these searches. Map, map, map. Do you know what the #1 website in the world is? #1 across China, Russia, Belize, anywhere. It's google.com. The second most clicked on website in the world is Google Maps. Anyone know what #3 is? YouTube. They're all Google properties. Google, Google, Google. And Facebook, everyone thinks Facebook's so awesome. Facebook's #4. The 3 top properties are Google, and then Facebook's a distant 4. So of all the sites that are clicked on, this is hugely important, and this reviews class is going to show you how to get ranked up here. Any questions about anything so far?
Facebook might be #4, but it's got more emotional content.
It does have more emotional content. You'll notice from Google Analytics that when people from Facebook go to a website, I'd say about 7 or 8 times out of 10, they go back to Facebook. They don't stay on your website and search. They go to Facebook, read what they want, 20, 30 seconds, and they go back to the website. There are exceptions to that, but you have to create some content. Consistency. Anyone notice the errors here? I love this. Y-O-U-R. Really? Yeah, let's talk about English. I'd love to talk about English. Did anyone not figure this out? Okay. Got to be consistent. And what we're talking about is name, address, and phone number. Anyone, Jake's Diving Locker, you've been in this class for 5 years, you know I've talked about NAP and the consistency with NAP, name, address, and phone number. And I'm going to show you some examples here. Your business name must be consistent. What's your business name, sir?
A1 Scuba and Travel Aquatics.
A1 Scuba and Travel Aquatics Center Incorporated, A1 Scuba and Travel Center Inc.
I don't put that on anything.
Okay. So Google ideally wants whatever's on your business license on here. They don't have a way to check that, but that's what they ideally want. What you really need besides using your business license is to be consistent. Whatever your business name is, if it's abc.com, don't call it abcincorporated.com. Your business name needs to be consistent. And I know you're all thinking, well, what's he even talking about? I'm going to show you here in a second. Just wait. Your phone number and your address must also be consistent. We're talking about computers. So a computer sees, a person sees an address, ST. What does ST mean in address? Do you know what a computer sees? ST period. The computer doesn't see street. So if you're listing your address as street, every time you need to list your address as street. The biggest example of this is your suite number. So many people will list a suite number as pound 130 or STE 130 or just 130. Whatever you choose, it needs to be consistent. Here's the slide that's going to prove that point. I show this slide every year, and I tell you, I get more comments on this slide than any presentation I give. This is my phone number, in case you want to know, 512-590-5957. Do you notice that there's dots in that phone number? I like the way this looks. For me, it looks clean. Europeans do this a lot. Anyone here a computer programmer? A period is a stopping point. Computers see periods as a stop. Computers see dashes as a continuance. Let's look up here. How many results does that say right there? 8 results. This is my phone number. That's the same phone number, 512-590-5957. But now there's 239 results because I included dashes. A computer sees 512, period, 590, period, 5957 as 3 separate entities. A computer sees dashes as a continuance. And what we're talking about is not ranking for people. We're talking about ranking on computers, which are very exact. Everybody with me? I do that so much. Okay, so everybody understands that the dashes here are important. And by the way, when you're listing your phone number online, it does make a difference if you're using periods or dashes. I personally love the periods. I use it on my business cards, but I don't use it on my website. You need to be consistent, okay? Anything you put online, if you've got dashes, stay with dashes in your phone number. Any questions? Okay, good. I'm glad everybody understood that. Did that slide really hit home in terms of how important the little minutia is? We're talking about punctuation. I mean, to quote Allen Iverson, we're talking about punctuation, man. We're talking about punctuation. It's punctuation. This is so minor, but it's a big deal. Let's talk about how to get reviews. Anyone know what cognitive dissonance is? Nobody knows what cognitive dissonance is? A marketing course. Come on. Come on. This is 3 o'clock. Who knows what cognitive dissonance is?
It doesn't fit, so like a picture does not fit what the caption is.
That is a form of dissonance. I'm not sure if it's cognitive dissonance. Cognitive dissonance is when you make a purchase and you're upset that you made the purchase. And your level of cognitive dissonance varies depending on the size of the purchase. Ma'am, if you buy a stick of gum and you taste that gum and you don't like it, whatever, it's 99 cents, I'll go get a pack of gum. If you buy a $30,000 Mercedes and you don't like it, it's a little bit more difficult to go trash the Mercedes and get another one. Are we all in agreement? So the cognitive dissonance varies based on the purchase price, okay? And the customer satisfaction, it's important to note, is highest at the point of sale. When do you think you should ask for the reviews? At the point of sale. This is very difficult. Listen, for those in here who are business owners, we all wear different hats. Some of our hats are sales hats. If you make this part of your process and you figure out a script, however it is you're going to ask for the review, and you teach it to your employees, this is easy. It's no different from saying, come see us again. It's really easy if you get this part of your process and part of your culture. And you know what? Once you get it that way, 60, 70, 80, 100 reviews is nothing. That'll happen in a year. So I was at I like hot sauce. I make salsa. And I was at the Hot Sauce Festival in Austin. And I noticed Google was giving out shirts. And they were saying, it's very curious for me because of what I do, if you write me a review, I'll give you a free t-shirt. Now, Google goes on record as saying, if you ask for a review, I'm going to ban you. We've all heard this, right? There's organizations I can name two particular, in New York that were paying people for reviews. They put online, write me a review, I'll give you $50. And they got banned. You can't find them on Google, you can't find them on any search engine now, because that's not what the search engines want. But Google does it. But here's the difference. Here's the difference in how they ask. They didn't say, give me a positive review. They said, write me a review. So here's how that speech sounds when you're telling it to an employee, because what I'm teaching you is how to do this, how your minions can do this. You guys have stuff to do. Get a minion to do this stuff for you, okay? This is the way it sounds like to a minion. If you thought our service was great today, I'd love it if you wrote me a review. If you thought our service wasn't good today, go say that online too. Whatever you thought it was, please go write a review for me online. Does that sound different than I'll give you $50 if you write me a review online? That's what the search engines will not penalize you for. But if you just put something overt about, we'll give you $25 for a review, they will ban you. Now, this is something that we created. It's really graphic heavy, and here's how you write a review, and we weren't sure if this would work or not. We gave this out to a lot of different customers, and believe it or not, this is the one that got the more reviews. That looks kind of just made up, huh? Sign into Google, type in your company name, reviews, click here. I send this to people, I get 3 times more reviews than the graphic heavy thing. Keep it simple when you're sending them stuff about reviews. I paid to have this made, hey, and we don't even use it. We hand it out to show people how to get reviews, but it's a handout to show people how to get reviews. Leaning on this is harder than leaning on this. Any questions? Any clarification needed on that? Some people have a hard time with that part. Okay, let's talk about how to respond to negative reviews. Probably the most important part about this class. This is where I'm going to ask you to repeat after me, because this is the single most important part of all my presentations. If you use keywords in your reviews, your keywords will be ranked. Do you remember in school, your teacher would say, I want you to use first person, or I want you to use third person. You remember all that stuff? And you always said, well, what is second person? What's fourth person? How do you get that? When you're writing reviews, you use second person. Now let's think about this. The person who's reading your review response, knows what the review is about. Are we on the same page? They've read it. And so you don't have to say, thank you for coming and staying on our liveaboard in Vanuatu for 3 weeks. You don't have to say that. Everybody knows they did that. Thank you for coming and spending time with us. Everybody knows what you're referring to, right? You don't have to talk about the liveaboard in Vanuatu. They just complained about it for 3 lines. Use adverbs. He, she, it, them. It's not a spear gun, it's it. Here's what I want you to repeat after me, even the guys who showed up just now. Don't use keywords in your review responses. Say it.
Don't use keywords in your review responses.
I cannot tell you how important that is, because if you do, it might get ranked. You just wrote a response to a guy who ripped you a new one, and you used a keyword, and so now everybody's going to see it. Oh boy, that's not what you want. You want to use keywords in your positive review responses because you want people to see those. You don't want to use keywords in your negative responses. Basic language, second person, them, it, those kind of words. Does everyone understand this concept? This is seriously, in the 4 presentations I give, that's the single most important concept. Again, this is about keywords here. Do not use keywords in your responses because computers will pick those words up.
What if it's a positive review?
Then you use keywords as much as possible. Thank you so much for buying my Rob Allen spear gun and coming and diving with me at Vanuatu. You rock. Keyword, keyword, keyword. Stuff it. Don't use more than 3. I'm just joking. Don't use more than 3 keywords. Okay, here is a 5-step system for responding to negative reviews. If you text book to the number I told you about, then you don't have to write any of this down because it'll come in the book. The book's free. The 5-step system. Is the review true? Guys, this is so hard. I had a plastic surgeon I worked with one time that lost someone on the table. She goes in for a boob job, she dies. Imagine that. Jesus. The family wrote like a 3-page review. Keyword, doctor's names, offices, who, what, where, when, how. It was awful. But you have to look at the review and you have to ask yourself, is this true? If it's an untrue review, then you will respond differently. You're going to call that person out straight up. I don't know even who you are, man. Who are you? You didn't write that. I didn't service you. But if it is a true review, you have to own it in second-person terms. It, them, sorry that happened to them. Not, I'm sorry that happened to your loved one. I'm sorry that happened to them. Okay, very basic language. If yes, what did you do to change it? So the person is writing about, you know what, your boat was super duper loud and your people weren't very friendly. Okay. Remember who you're writing to here when you're writing this response. You are not writing to the person who wrote that response, are you? Is that person ever going to visit your site again? Is that person ever going to do business with you again, sir? You think? Probably not. You're writing to the people who are going to read that later. And so you need to show them how you recovered that customer service. Well, yes, our boat is very loud. We recently put a new Yamaha muffler on it. Thank you for the feedback. And in terms of our captain being less friendly, you know, he had slipped on the boat and busted his elbow on that day. We're really super sorry. He had shark teeth out, but that doesn't happen as normal. Recovering the service, telling the people how it's going to be in the future. Hey, you addressed it, you owned it. Own it. If you did it, just own it and move on, okay? First thing when you're crafting this, before you respond to the review, before you respond to the review, send them a private message. About 1/3 of the time, we have found that people will pull it down if you send them a private message and say, so listen, we really screwed up there. I'm sorry. You're right, he was kind of mean. What can we do to make this better? What if on your next visit we give you 10% off? Will that do it? What can I do to change your mind here? We have found that about 1/3 of the time they'll straight up remove the review, and some of the time they'll change it to more stars. This is positive because it's a private message. You haven't had to do anything public, anything that would get ranked and possibly put your business or your reputation in jeopardy. So send a private review and see if they'll pull it down. Be nice on the private review. Remember I said if you don't, oh yes.
Quick question.
Mhm.
I personally found that I don't get responses on private messages on TripAdvisor and Yelp.
Really?
Other people find?
You get responses? I get responses. Let's pay attention to step 5. Maybe step 5 will apply to you. Okay. Yes?
If you're doing private reviews, you still use the pronouns and second person and stuff, or do you make it more personal and more direct?
That all depends if it's a positive review or a negative review.
No, I mean, if it's a negative review,
Oh.
you're responding privately.
Mhm.
It's not going to be on the Then do you make it more personal and direct, or do you keep it vague and second person?
So John asked a question of, should you keep the private response vague, second person terms, or should you use keywords and be very specific? That is actually a really good question. You win some sort of award for asking the best questions, I tell you, because this guy's had a lot of good questions this time. I have seen it in the past where someone will copy what you wrote, and this happened to me, copy what you wrote and paste it into the review. And so if you have to be polite to these guys, you cannot write them and say anything. Like, it's a private, you're trying to get them to pull this down, right? And so I wouldn't use keywords in that at all. When I'm responding to anything negative, a keyword is the furthest thing from my mind. It is like, how can I strip this down to not say any information? You understand? Just minimize it.
So treat it more sarcastically. What can we do to make it better?
What can I do? How can I change this for you? Who asked me about the no part? Someone did. If this is a competitor, call them out. I do this periodically. We did this probably 3 to 5 times this year. And here's what it sounds like. I'm sorry. I would love to help you. What's your name? Debbie wrote me a terrible review. Debbie, I would love to help you, but we have no record of you ever coming into our store. If you contact us, we will make this better. What this sounds like to people who are reading this in the future is, these guys, they never even saw this person, so that's very interesting. And it also means your competitor's not going to respond to you. You straight up called them out. They're not going to respond to that. I've never had anyone respond to that stuff. It's almost always a BS review written by someone else who is just trying to get over on you. Call them out. If they do respond, be polite. I've never had that happen because usually we research. Hey guys, is this true? Was this true? Did you step on the guy's foot and break his arch? Okay, we got to own it. You didn't step on his foot and break his arch. Let's call him out. Get it? Any questions on this concept? Be careful when you call them out. Don't use keywords. This right here, Jake's Diving Locker, is what I was talking about. If this were done today, what would be done differently? A lot of times, this is where business owners get in trouble because they get emotional. Screw you, dude. We're not going to do anything differently. Have someone read the review before you send it out, okay? As a business owner, you're emotionally invested in this. What do you mean? My boat's awesome, dude. My 49-foot Bertram rocks it. I don't even know if that's a thing. But you need to not be emotional, and I always have someone read my response, because sometimes they'll be like, I'll just take out those 2 little words right there, and it sounds better. But when you're emotional, you're like, no, I want those words in there. What are you talking about? Have someone read it, okay? But also, you need to respond if this were done differently. Yes, we stepped on his arch. We stepped on his arch because the pathway was too narrow. Since then, we have put up a sign that says 1 person at a time on this path. Remember your perspective. You're writing for the people who are going to read this review next. You don't care about the person who wrote the review. I mean, it's great if they pull it down, but they're not coming to you again. So write it for the people who are going to read it next. And again, ask a person to read the review, a neutral person, not someone who's, don't ask your wife. She's emotionally involved in this too, my wife. So make sure it's someone who has no stake in this. Everyone understand this concept? Anyone not understand this concept? I think we all do. Very good. That's a big shark. All right, let's talk about optimizing your online reputation. And this is also in terms of getting reviews and being able to have places to house the reviews. Yelp is something that you all need to integrate with. Everybody in this room, whether you love it or hate it, I hate Yelp. You need to integrate with it. It is essential because of all the traffic and the quality. What we're talking about is quality. When you look at Google Analytics reports across the world, what you will see is your paid traffic is maybe 1.5 to 2 minutes. And your direct traffic, that's someone typing in, what's your business name again? Someone typing in Scuba Adventures for Everyone, Austin, right? That's your direct traffic. That's going to have a time on site. People are going to spend a lot of time on site because they're looking directly for you. When people come from Yelp, the time on site will be higher than that, and it's crazy. It's crazy. It's almost like they're vetting you on Yelp and they go to your site and they're ready. But you really need to claim your Yelp listing. Yelp shows up on the first page for many Google reviews searches. Google likes Yelp because of their verification process. Yes, it's not ideal. We've talked about having to take a shower after you talk to Yelp. However, it's essential. And what we're talking about when claiming directories on the first page, Yelp is one of them. Google, obviously you need to claim your Google. I mean, if you don't claim your Google account, you need to do that yesterday. But you can type one of your keywords, not your brand name. Don't type your brand name. Don't do this with your brand name. Type one of your keywords in to a Google search bar. Use a geomodifier and use the word reviews. Find out which locations pop up. Yelp's going to be one of them. You might have TripAdvisor. TripAdvisor is really big in this industry. You might have, well, you'll probably have Google pop up. You might have like yp.com or Superpages or something like that. But what that's going to show you doing this is going to show you which reviews are relevant in your area. Anyone here not from the US? Okay, I'm hesitant to ask any countries. Anyone here from South America? You ever see any? Oh, no one's here from South America. No. Australia? Okay, maybe we'll go with it. Yelp does not rank well on most other continents. Yelp is very much North America. North America and Canada. Mexico, Asia, Australia, Europe. There's no Yelp, okay? The reason I'm telling you to do this is because you need to find the custom directories for your geographic location, okay? Claiming, we went through this in the last course for those of you who weren't here. Claiming means filling out every single field. There are directories who will not show your listing if you don't have every single field filled out. Try and say that 5 times fast. This is the longest one you'll have to fill out. This is Yelp, and I mean, they ask you like a biography. This isn't even that long, but it's pretty extensive in terms of directories. Most times they want your name, website, email, phone number. That's it. It's not hard. Picture maybe. Some people don't fill this out and they can't understand why are my reviews not being shown? Just fill out the directory. Just fill it out, okay? Oh, so stupid. My most recent discovery, current crush, I mean, we just made all this up, but I mean, are you kidding? Actually, the funny thing, I have squirt guns in my shop and I'm not afraid to use them. That's actually a shop I work with in Wisconsin. They have that on there. It's kind of funny. When you're using directories that require pictures, almost every directory has an activity threshold. And an activity threshold means if you are not active, you will not show up. Remember we talked about completing the directory? We just talked about that? This is part of completing the directory. Let me give you an example. You fill out your Google+, you've got 20 reviews on your Google+ page, but you only have 2 pictures. Guess what? Google's not going to show your page because you need 5 minimum to hit their activity threshold. And it's like that with a lot of directories. It seems to be that between 3 and 5 is the activity threshold for media on most directories. Put 5 pictures on there and all of a sudden your directory is complete, and that's what we're talking about. Any questions on that?
Yes, so if you're doing multiple things at your business, at present we do eco tours, we do diving, but diving is a very small percentage of what we do.
Mm-hmm.
So, of all the different things we do, weigh it more on the eco tours versus the diving?
Now we're talking about pictures, right?
Right, pictures up.
So put in 20 pictures. And that way you can get pictures of everything. Okay?
But should you skew it at all based on what your percentage of your business?
That's a hard question to answer because there's a part that I need to tell you to answer that question. Google in particular will index your image name when you upload it. So when you take a picture from your phone, it'll say 001.2016, whatever's today's date, 19 or something like that. That'll be the title of your image. If you upload that image that way and then change the name to Undersea Expedition Hawaii, Google is going to show that as an amendment and not as the official name. Your official name is still going to be 001.2016, renamed Undersea Expedition Palau. Understand? Rename it before you put it up there. And that's where you would skew it. Okay? Put 5 pictures up there about one service, put 3 pictures up there about another service, but name them your keywords before you put them up. Okay? And that'll help you skew. Let's talk about outranking your competitors. We got a little bit of time. So, using Google My Business, we saw that the map shows up really high, and we're talking about generating reviews, which is part of Google Maps. When you're talking about Google My Business, you need to first claim your Google My Business listing, right? We talked about that. Part of claiming your Google My Business listing is filling out every single one of these fields. You see how that address is right there? That address needs to be copied and pasted from your website because it needs to be consistent, right? It has to be consistent. Copy and paste. That's the easiest way to make it consistent so you don't have a spelling mistake, you don't leave out a period or a comma or a dash. Just copy and paste it. Same thing with your phone number and your website address. You see this slash at the end of the website? OahuScuba.com / OahuScuba.com is a different website, or OahuScubaDiving.com. OahuScubaDiving.com is a different website from OahuScubaDiving.com / You can go online, Google Matt Cutt's website address. Matt Cutt's website address on YouTube, and you'll find about a 3-minute video on this where he will explain to you how computers read these. If you leave off that slash, you've spammed Google. Well, congratulations. You've done all this work, and now you've spammed them, so they're not going to show your listing, not as frequently. Copy, paste. Copy, paste. Understand? It's easy if you copy, paste. When your categories down here, your categories are auto-populated. This is for Google only. If you put in a category that is not auto-populated, you can come in here and where it says dive shop, I could put an S on the end of that. Like I can free flow. I could put dive shop in Midland, Texas, underwater in the blue sand if I wanted to. That could be one of my categories. You need to use an auto-populated category or else they will categorize you as spam. They have certain categories up here for a reason. And the biggest problem with not getting shown on Google, and you can talk to Google reps about this, is called category spam. See that says category right there? If you change that, then you're spamming them. Yes, ma'am. Yes, as many as you can.
Well, for example, we have 2 or 3 categories, but that affect, the ranking on each category. So if you have more than just dive shop, would it affect your ranking on
Yes.
dive shop?
It'll affect your ranking on every single category. So having multiple categories gives you multiple opportunities to show up. If you just have dive shop and you also do, let me try and think, spearfishing, let's just say, okay? And someone types in spearfishing, well, this says dive shop. And so you might not get the same relevance. And obviously it depends on geomodifiers and competition, but if you put spearfishing in there, you're all of a sudden relevant.
But would it affect how you rank in dive shop?
Yes.
One category, would that affect that, you won't rank as high?
Not negatively. It will not negatively affect you. I think that's what you're asking. Will it negatively affect you if you put in more categories? When you talk to Google reps, they will say, put in as many categories as possible. At one point, there was a limit here. They've taken off the limit. Google changes all the time. Who knows? Tomorrow, they'll probably put back a limit on. I don't know. They'll probably change the name of this or something. But for now, you can put in as many categories as you want, and you should. But remember, choose auto-populated ones. Don't free flow, okay? Yes, ma'am.
Is there a way to find categories?
When you start typing, they'll pop up. You type in dive, and it'll show dive shop, scuba diving, rock diving, I don't know. Yeah. Don't make up your own. Yes. Yes, sir. No, each line is a different one. So you'll type in dive shop, enter, and then go to the new line and type in spearfishing, something like that. Any other questions? Okay, hours. I'm going to tell you guys about a little loophole here. I'm the wizard of Google, which means I have to know about Google because people ask me questions about it. I read privacy policies. I'm that guy. So you know how whenever you got your new smartphone and you couldn't wait to get it and you downloaded Google Maps because you had to go find the new place or whatever, and you went next, next, finish. Everyone remember that when they did that? Let me tell you what you had next to. One of the little check boxes that Google has on Google Maps, in particular Google Maps, says, only show me businesses that are open. And it defaults to that little checkbox. See this right here? At 8 p.m., their listing is going to be shown a lot more frequently. They're only shown half the time. If you're a pizza joint, you're going to have some drunk ass that stumbles down there at 3 a.m., and so you can't do this, okay? You guys are dive shops, or maybe even resorts or liveaboards. If you're a liveaboard, there's no problem here. You're open 24 hours a day. If you have an answering machine, put your hours on here as 24 hours a day. You will show up more frequently. And you can see it in analytics. You'll show up 1/3 more. Understand? Your hours are 24 hours. I'm sorry? I don't think anyone drunk is going to stumble down to a dive shop at 1 a.m. I'm pretty sure that's not happening. Pizza joint, yeah. Club, taxi, not a scuba shop. Nobody's coming down there at 1 a.m., and if they do, it's the one. It's that guy or girl.
So are you saying that maybe that a dive shop should put open 24 hours?
Everyone in this room should. Yeah. None of you, is anyone in here in an urgent care facility? This is this is part of your business profile. If you are an urgent care facility, I'm sorry, go ahead. No, not on your website, just your Google Plus listing. You can put it on your website if you want. Now think about this. If you have someone answering your phone 24/7, can you put on your website that you're open 24/7 if someone's answering your phone? Well, especially if you're international, because most people are going to be calling you as opposed to, let's fly down to Belize and see if these guys are open. I don't know. Most people are going to be calling you, right? And so, yes, you can absolutely list your hours as 24 hours. This is a little loophole that I'm telling you guys about. Is it shady? Maybe not. I mean, you're talking about Google Maps. I mean, you're not going to hell for putting stuff on here that's not right, but your listing will show up a lot more frequently. And that's what I'm here to do, is show you guys how to make more money. Special hours, this is brand new. We actually had to change this about a month ago because they included this. This is for seasonal businesses. If you're a seasonal business, here's where you list your seasonal hours. Oh, from December to January, we're only open from 1 a.m. until 2 a.m. I don't know, whatever. Introduction right here. Guys, do not keyword stuff your introduction. You remember we talked about keyword stuffing reviews and how you can just keyword, positive reviews, right? Not negative ones. You cannot keyword stuff your introduction or Google will mark you as spam. Keyword stuffing is more than 4 words. What Google says is, you can say, we do A, comma B, comma C. If you say comma D, you're keyword stuffing. 3 keywords, okay? Pick 3 important keywords for you. This introduction gets ranked. If you put on here that you are the best dive shop, well, what is that? Skydiving? Be descriptive. You're a scuba dive shop. Keywords. So this is a part that is also brand new, that we literally changed this 2 days ago because Google just changed this like a week ago. There is a portion of this listing that will allow you to tell Google which sites you are using. Am I keeping you awake? This is tough at 3 a.m., isn't it? 3 p.m., huh? When you fill out those links, it will point to your website and it tells Google, hey, by the way, this website right here, this website is exceeding relevant for this listing. Here's where it is. See your work contact info and see your education and all that. That's all personal stuff. See these other sites and contributor to profiles? Do you see this stuff right here? Sites and contributor to profiles? You need to list every single place that you publish content here. A few years ago, Google had something called authorship. Any geeks in here know what authorship was? Anyone remember what that is? Google was doing an experiment. They were trying to determine who released this content first. And if you released it first, how many times did it get shared across the globe? Well, there was this there was a little code that you had to put on your website, and then you got the code from Google Plus and you had to sync it up. Now, all you do is fill out these fields. That's it. And you get authorship, which means anything you post, let's say that you make a post to your site and it goes viral. You're going to get all the credit for that, and your page is going to get ranked because you've got this link here. You notice some of these are social, right? But these are all sites that they contribute to. You need to fill this out entirely. This particular business here noticed a more than 30, I can't remember the exact number, 35 or something, 30% increase in visits just when they filled this out right here, just filling out their links. I have no idea why this increased their visits, but it literally, you can see it happen. We put it in and then overnight their links went up, or their traffic went up on Google+. So include as many links here as you possibly can. Okay? Questions about that? Domande. All right, guys, that is it. Did I finish this on time? My goodness. Whoa, it's a first for me. I finished on time. You know what? I have the wrong company here to follow me for a chance to win a free consultation. It's actually Google Plus, I believe. Let me go back to the front. Inconsistency. See, I just talked about consistency and I was inconsistent. Do as I say, not as I do. Follow me, Wizard of Google, go to Google Plus, type in Wizard of Google. If you follow me, you'll be entered to win a free consultation. There are several people in here who've got the free consultation before. It's more than an hour. There's no sales. My job is to help make you better. The last thing that I want, remember how we're talking about writing reviews and stuff? Guess what? DEMA hires me based on my reviews. DEMA brings us back if people review us. If you like the material you heard today, if you thought this was good, remember I told you how to ask for a review? This is me asking for a review. Go on the DEMA app and write a review. I'll give you the password. That's in my little thing. You guys have been a very silent crowd. I hope you learned a lot. Thank you very much, and that's all. Appreciate it, guys.